Stephanie White just said something about Caitlin Clark at training camp that reveals exactly where the Indiana Fever are heading this season. And it's not what you think. White didn't talk about stats. She didn't talk about championships. She talked about something deeper. Something that tells you this Fever team is different than anything we've seen before.
Somebody like Caitlin, it matters how many games you have. She does what she does. I think the thing I want to see is I just want to see her play with joy. It was such a...
Stephanie White wants Caitlin Clark to play with joy. Not to dominate, not to break records, to play with joy. And when you understand what Clark went through in 2025, you realize why that matters so much. White was on the Team USA coaching staff in March when Clark played in the FIBA World Cup qualifiers. She watched Clark live. She saw her up close in practice. She watched her win tournament MVP after 8 months off the floor. And what White noticed wasn't just that Clark's skills came back, it was how she approached the game.
You're playing with the best players in the world, and so she did such a great job of finding her spots, of understanding, time, space, rhythm. I thought all of her timing looked really good, and it's hard when you're not playing to simulate that. So I think you give her a lot of credit in terms of the pickup games that she played and the way that she played them.
Think about what White is saying here. Clark's pace was good. She didn't try to overdo anything. She let the game come to her. That's not how most players come back from 8 months on the sidelines. Most players come back pressing, trying to prove they're still themselves, forcing things. Clark didn't do that. She trusted her preparation. She trusted her body. And she let the game unfold naturally. White specifically mentioned timing. That's not something you can fake in solo workouts. Timing is about reading defenses in real time, knowing when the pass window opens before it actually does, recognizing when to attack and when to pull back. That's the stuff that disappears when you're not playing live basketball for 8 months. But Clark had it. White saw it firsthand. And that's why she's confident heading into 2026. Now, you might be wondering, what did Caitlin Clark herself say about all this? Because hearing it from the coach is one thing. Hearing it from Clark is something else entirely. Clark showed up to training camp and made a declaration that should terrify the rest of the WNBA.
I'm 100% cleared. I'm 100% go. Obviously you saw that at USA. I've been playing pickup as live as I playing live all the time. Eventually skill workouts get a little bit boring, so you just want to play and play and play. So I think it's just being smart. No need to overdo it at this point.
After an injury nightmare that kept her out for 31 games in 2025, Clark is fully healthy and ready to dominate for a full season. But here's what makes this even more interesting. Clark admitted something that most players would never say publicly. She's still dealing with mental blocks.
There's definitely days where I still sometimes feel sore, but a lot of athletes that have gone through injury know it's the mental battle. It's your body's fine. You've put in the work, and it's just kind of getting over that mental hurdle. So I think there's definitely still days where I experience a little bit of a mental block, but I know I'm doing every single thing I can to be healthy, and that's why
That's vulnerability. That's honesty. A lot of athletes that have gone through injury deal with this. Your body is fine. You've put in the work. But there's this mental hurdle you have to clear every single day, the fear that it might happen again, the doubt that creeps in when you feel a twinge or a tightness. Clark acknowledges it, and then she pushes through it anyway, because she knows she's doing everything possible to stay healthy. The targeted muscle activation, the pre-court treatment, the recovery work, the intentional preparation. If you want more breakdowns like this on Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and everything happening in the WNBA, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Now let me show you what else White revealed about this Fever team. Stephanie White didn't just talk about Clark's health. She talked about what Clark went through last season and why that experience matters going forward.
It's hard. It's very isolating to come to practice every single day and spend 2 hours getting treatment and rehab, and then you come out here and you have to show up and be the best teammate you can.
Clark said that experience taught her how to impact the team when she's not playing. She learned how to be their biggest fan, how to communicate, how to show up and support even when she's not in the game. And that's the kind of leadership development you can't teach in a classroom. White sees that growth. And that's part of why she's so confident in Clark's ability to lead this team through a full season. Because Clark doesn't just know how to dominate when she's healthy, she knows how to lead when things aren't going perfectly. But White's plan for Clark in 2026 is smarter than just running her into the ground and hoping she stays healthy. White has a specific approach to managing Clark's workload.
Here that she gets older too, she understands, the cadence is a little bit different. It's not like she has any to go out there and go through everything. I think with her, with Kelsey, with AB, with all of them, just be mindful of getting them in and out. And we need to get other people.
Clark doesn't need to be in every single rep during training camp. That's not White trying to limit her. That's White being smart about a 44-game season plus playoffs. The goal isn't to have Clark at 100% in April. The goal is to have her at 100% in September and October when the games actually matter. And Clark is buying in. She admitted she's the type of person who doesn't want to sit out a single rep. She loves competing. She loves playing. But she understands now that taking care of her body is the most important thing at this stage. Taking care of my body at this point in the season is probably the most important thing, Caitlin said. Whether that's recovery, whether that's pre-court treatment, whatever it is. I've never really sat on the sidelines before, so it was a very humbling experience. That humbling experience changed how Clark approaches her preparation. She's not just grabbing her basketball shoes and lacing them up anymore. She's intentional about muscle activation. She's working with the Fever's athletic trainer daily. She's doing the unglamorous work that keeps athletes on the floor for full seasons. Now let's talk about what White saw that excited her beyond just Clark being healthy. Because there's a chemistry piece here that's flying under the radar. White mentioned that Monique Billings and Caitlin Clark already have chemistry from Team USA. That matters more than you might think.
Smiling, she enjoys being out there, she enjoys the game. I thought her and Caitlin had really good chemistry at USA as well, so looking forward to integrating her into what we do.
Billings and Clark already know each other's timing. They've already run pick and rolls together. They've already played in high-pressure situations with international competition. So when Billings steps into Fever training camp, she's not starting from zero. She already knows where Clark puts the ball. She already knows when to roll. She already knows when the pass is coming. That's a massive advantage for a new signing. Most players spend the first month of the season just figuring out their teammates. Billings walked in already connected with the Fever's best player. Aaliyah Boston talked about how excited the team is to have everyone healthy and on the court.
100%. I think it just gives us a lot of confidence. Last year, obviously, we know it was chaotic with pieces that we brought in and everything that happened. So just to have everybody on the court full go, I mean, we're pumped.
Full go, everyone healthy. That's a completely different team than the one that fought through 2025 with constant injuries and roster chaos. Boston said the word pumped. That's not corporate speak. That's genuine excitement from a player who knows what this roster is capable of when it's whole. But White isn't just focused on offense and chemistry. She has a very specific defensive goal for 2026, and it's ambitious. We want to be a bear on the defensive end of the floor. We want to be in the top 3 in the league in defense, and we want to play with more pace, White told the reporters. Top 3 defense. The Fever ranked 7th defensively in 2025 with a 104.3 defensive rating. White wants them in the top 3. That's not a small jump. But White has credibility here. Her Connecticut Sun teams posted a 96.4 defensive rating in 2024, which ranked first in the entire league. She's not guessing about what elite defense looks like. She's already built it. And she's bringing that same mentality to Indiana. Be a bear on the defensive end. That's the phrase she used. Physical, relentless, tough. That's the identity she's building. White also wants the Fever to play faster. They ranked 5th in pace last season. She wants them in the top 2 or 3. That fits perfectly with what Clark does best. Push tempo, create scramble situations, attack before defenses can get set. So let me ask you something. Do you see what's happening here? This isn't just a team getting healthy. This is a team with a clear identity forming. Defense, pace, joy, chemistry, leadership. White wants Clark to play with joy. Clark is physically and mentally ready. Billings already knows Clark's game. Boston is locked in long-term. The defensive identity is being installed. The pace is increasing. This is a team that knows exactly what it's building toward. And the rest of the WNBA should be paying attention. Stephanie White's message about Caitlin Clark wasn't about stats or records. It was about joy, about playing the game the right way, about being healthy and happy and competing at the highest level. That's championship culture. That's what separates good teams from great ones. Clark went through hell in 2025. Injuries, isolation, missing games, watching from the sideline. And she came out the other side stronger, more mature, more intentional, more ready. White saw it at Team USA. She saw the pace, the timing, the trust, and now she's building a system around Clark that maximizes everything she does while protecting her body for the long haul. The Fever aren't just talking about winning, they're building the foundation to actually do it. And it starts with Caitlin Clark playing with joy. What do you think? Is Caitlin Clark ready to dominate a full, healthy season? And can the Fever reach that top 3 defense Stephanie White is targeting? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest on the Fever, Caitlin Clark, and everything happening in the WNBA. We'll see you in the next one.